This is a podcast about both having autism and living with someone who has autism. My mom is Sonya, and I'm Josh, and this is Josh Has Autism.
Hey everybody, welcome to Josh Has Autism.
Hello.
So happy you're with us today.
Yeah.
It's a long weekend.
It is?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Memorial Day weekend.
Oh.
3-day weekend.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, you know what that means? Come Monday.
I don't have treatment.
You don't have, right. You've been doing this new TMS therapy.
Yeah.
Right, with a magnetic therapy.
Yeah.
So, let's see. You've had it Thursday, Friday, then Monday, Thursday. You've had it 7 times now. Yeah. Well, since we just jumped right into that, why don't you just say, share how that's going? What do you...
I'm actually not as down as I was. The best way I can describe it is that there was a veil over what I was seeing and feeling. Mm-hmm. And I mean that literally in the case of sight.
Yeah. Well, what I'm interested in is, all of it, but I'm so interested in what you described as this darkness.
Yeah, on the edge of my vision.
Yeah.
And whenever the treatment started, the first day, I saw that it was clearer to see. Not clearer, but it wasn't as all-encompassing. And then the following day, it was completely cleared up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's something that I didn't know about until recently with you. So describe this, and did you know, I have a couple questions for you, if you knew that it was connected to depression.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, how long has it been there, and could you describe it? So, did you know it was related to depression?
Yes, because it's happened before.
When you feel most severely depressed, it comes in and it's...
More so whenever it leaves, because of medication changes or something like that. Mm-hmm. Because it's then that I realize that... that... oh my gosh. I'm taking a drink of water.
That makes a lot of sense, though, that you would realize when something stops interfering.
Yeah.
As you have clarity all around.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's that I don't remember which thing that this is usually connected with, but the creeping syndrome or something like that, where I don't remember what disease or whatever that's with, but whatever.
Creeping syndrome, like that. I don't know if you're talking about within your body or like a creep.
Neither. It's let me try and rephrase that.
Because the visual I have is some slimy dude creeping around. I'm like, that's not what we want.
No.
No. The look you're giving me right now is hysterical.
No, but let me try and phrase it a different way.
Okay.
You know what? I know how to describe it.
Okay.
And it's actually, I'm going to paraphrase from a movie I saw.
Okay.
Kate and Leopold.
Okay. That was a good movie.
Oh, yeah. And it's that how, and again, I'm paraphrasing this thing, but it's like if everyone were dogs. Mm-hmm. And you're the one that can see color. Mm-hmm. You just don't realize it.
Right.
And nobody else seems... In the quote itself, it's that nobody else seems to believe because they don't see in color.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, it's more so that I didn't realize that it was there because I've lived with it for so long that it surprises me whenever I realize, hey, this is something that I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so you're feeling better.
Yeah.
But when you realize, describe this, this darkness. Like I take it like as the periphery vision.
Yeah. It's
on
the outside of my vision.
Mm-hmm.
It was dark. Like, I wear glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine, for those of you who wear glasses, all the part outside of the lens that you can see whenever you're just looking at through your lenses. All of that would be grayed out.
Oh, okay. So everything. So from that analogy, other than the glass part of your frame,
Mm-hmm.
everything around that would be darkened.
Yes.
And that's the way that you experienced everything?
Yeah, and it would taper off into the center of my vision.
Would it get worse and
It
better, or you wouldn't know? You never noticed.
Whenever the first treatment happened,
Mm-hmm.
it lightened up a whole heck of a lot.
Okay.
And by the second day after the second day of treatment, it was gone.
Wow.
And
That's amazing.
yeah, and I know that that's abnormal for this treatment, for it to happen that fast.
Well, I think what they said is they don't expect huge results right away. It's
Right.
usually after about 10 days, to a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, the people really notice, typically,
Mm-hmm.
really notice a difference. And with you, that's not something that they have as a criteria.
Right.
This darkened vision,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you bring to the conversation.
Yeah.
That's something that you've experienced.
And I'm not the only one, they said, that is remarked about that.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. That's actually not common per se,
Mm-hmm.
but just a bit uncommon among all of their patients.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not all of them have the symptoms like
Sure.
that.
Right.
Is what I mean.
I get what you're saying. But that lifted right away.
Yes.
Yeah. And other than that sensation not being gone,
Mm-hmm.
does that darkened, when you have that darkened vision, I'm assuming that what that means is that's a deeper, heavier state of being
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
So when that darkness kind of lightened up, does it also correlate with you feeling better?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it really, I was happier.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't as down, like I said before.
Mm-hmm.
It was like hiding under a thick blanket and then lifting it up.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I like that. You've been to 7 treatments there, and it's a total of 9 weeks. And I might have misstated that on another podcast. It's actually, I thought it was 6 weeks. It's actually 9 weeks. The first week is only 2 days, and then towards the end of it,
They taper off.
They taper off. So one of, the second to the last week is 3 days, and then there's 2 days. So you have a ways to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, what this podcast is, I wanted to just kind of catch up with everything that's going on. Because it seems like there's a lot of things that you're dealing with that are not quite complete.
Right.
Right? So we've started them. We've worked on them. We continue to work on them, but they haven't been resolved yet.
Right.
And that's one of them. One thing that I wanted to say, though, about this TMS treatment, which is transmagnetic treatment, is afterwards you sleep every single time.
Yeah.
They say that people can drive there and drive themselves home, and you would probably...
I could, but I'd probably crash. Not car crash, but I would physically crash or mentally crash, whatever. Fall asleep. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
I would fall asleep about half hour later.
Yeah. Right.
Excuse me.
So that's something that we notice with regularity. Every time you have that treatment, you come home and you sleep for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And when we talk to the technician there, she said that that's typical.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And you haven't even gotten to the point in that where they really see a huge improvement.
Right.
Yeah. We'll do another podcast as we go along, especially, maybe we'll wait till you're all finished, and we'll go through the whole thing.
Okay.
And what it was like, and also what's interesting is we're documenting all of this as we go, so we'll make that available when it's all done too. So we're taking pictures and videos of daily of you being there in treatment, and also we're writing down what happened on this day, what you noticed on this day, what you noticed on that day,
right.
The different changes. So when the 9 weeks is over, we'll do a podcast on it, but also we'll probably put that on the website for anybody that's interested to see how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Anything else you want to say about that right now?
Nope.
Okay. So we'd also talked about the hassle that we were going through with the Social Security Administration.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to follow up on what's going on with that. So yes, I decided that I was going to put in for the appeal. And part of that is because I got so upset that they used a diagnosis that's not even yours.
Yeah.
And removed the diagnosis of autism entirely.
Yeah.
So it's not really. It's this weird thing. It's sort of like it's sort of like
yeah, weird thing. All right.
That was funny. I forgot to turn that off. That it's one thing, like maybe it is time that you get off of SSI, but what really made me so angry is that they did it in a deceitful way. And I think that's probably what really got me going, no, it opened my eyes to some things. There really does need to be some changes, some movement forward. But yeah, I put in for the appeal. And what happened was, at the time, we got letters from Social Security Administration. They said that you were no longer disabled, so you were no longer going to be considered eligible for SSI, is what you get. After that, we got a letter saying that you no longer qualify for something called Ticket to Work. That's through the Social Security Administration, but it also helps. It can be beneficial. It helps people with a variety of disabilities, helps to move into the workforce without being penalized if it doesn't work out.
Right. Being penalized by your Social Security income.
Losing benefits.
Yes.
Correct. It's a pretty cool thing, because then you can start to work and they understand that you're moving forward in life, trying to accomplish something.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, you kind of have a safety net where you don't just get kicked off, out of off of SSI. I can say it. Off of SSI just because you're trying to work.
Right.
Other thing is, got a letter saying that you are no longer eligible for vocational rehabilitation. They're the ones that help you to get job training, help you to learn how to do interviews, help you to fill out applications. They also can help you go to a trade school.
Or college, yeah.
Or college. Right. So we got letters saying that you're not eligible for any of those. So I put in the appeal, and I turned in that appeal, and I also copied all of the appeal documents, sent them to our congressman.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, they are involved. They contacted Social Security on your behalf.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know which one came first. I'm not really sure but I do know this. Just as part of the appeal process, I heard back from Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
You have been kind of reinstated.
Uh-huh.
It's not a permanent situation because now we're going to the next level.
Right. It's still in the appeal process.
It is. So they're
Yeah.
reviewing the new information
Mm-hmm.
that I submitted. Something was really weird, though. They wanted to have any new information that we had. I included that new information, the documentation. So that means the doctors, the autism specialists,
and all them,
psychiatrists,
yeah.
all of it. And without any explanation, we got a letter in the mail returning those documents with no explanation. So I don't know if they didn't want them. Did they make copies of them and sent it back, or there was just no mention. They just sent them back, and that's kind of what it's like dealing with Social Security, because they do things that don't make sense, and with no explanation, and you can call. And depends on who you talk to, you get different answers as to what happens. So anyway, it's very, very frustrating. But what happened is they said, okay, because we're in an appeal process here, and I requested that they continue to keep you active, they are sending you a disability check each month. And what I've been told is that after the appeals process, if you're denied again, Social Security can say, we want our money back. And then I was told that, and I was like, well, he's not going to he doesn't have it. He uses this to live on.
Yeah.
He's not going to have it. And they said, well, you're the payee. And I said, yes. And they go, yeah, well, we'll come after you. And which means, and they'll make arrangements, whatever that means, They'll either want it all back, and I'll say, and
or they'll bust a kneecap or something.
Well, they won't they don't, might feel like it, but they don't garnish wages or anything when they do that. They can say $50 a month until it's paid back. At the same time, what can also happen is if you get denied again, there's still one more step after that we can go. If you get denied ultimately and they say we want our money back, if I can show that we did this with absolute belief and integrity, that look, you have autism and these are actual difficulties in your life, you are trying and we are trying to help you to get to a better place where you can get off of SSI.
Yeah.
And it was with good intentions. Then there's a way that they could say, okay, you don't have to pay us back.
Right.
If you're ultimately denied.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so that's where we are with that. We don't really know anything yet. We just know that, starting the beginning of next month, you'll get your check, your regular check, which, it's always been set up. It's not play money. It's something that you use to live on. It's,
right.
For rent and groceries and toiletries and clothing and contacts.
And toilet paper when we can find it.
Yes. Yeah. Which, by the way, the other day, I was picking some up for you too, with us and for you, and Dad was with me, and we each had one, like these little scrawny little rolls, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing to them, and the girl in the checkout said, "You can't get two." I go, well, there's two of us. It says one per customer. She goes, well, you can't do that. And I go, okay, well, maybe he can just pay for it separate. She goes, no, because now I've seen that you two are together. And I said, Dave, go get in another line. So he went in the next line over, and that he bought you toilet paper.
Oh, jeez.
Because you couldn't find any over and over and over, right?
Right.
So, but then you returned the favor and bought us toilet paper at the store, so it all, it equaled out. But,
oh, man.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. I'm like, what? It's just weird.
Yeah.
But the other...
And what's crazy about it, they're 4 rolls. That's it. Mm-hmm. And they're like scrawny rolls at that.
Oh, yeah. It's just... Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
So, Social Security, we don't have answers, so we're stuck in the middle of that, too. So, we got something saying, yes, they're going to send you a check each month until this is resolved, so that was a positive. Mm-hmm. Then we got a letter from Ticket to Work. They said, "Hey, you're eligible again." We got a ticket. We got a letter from. Got a ticket. Got a letter from Vocational Rehabilitation. Mm-hmm. They said, "Hey, you're eligible again." So that's what I'm working on now too, which is one of the things which leads me right into the next thing that we don't really have an answer to. You have said for a big chunk of your life that you wanted to work in a library.
Yes.
And you have applied for a library job. Mm-hmm. And because everything is shut down, nothing's been done about that.
Right.
You did apply, waiting for the interview, and haven't heard anything. So that's kind of on hold as well. Yeah. But... I don't remember. I had that weird,
epiphany.
That thing. This epiphany. It's like I came running in your room that one day, nothing. Like you couldn't wait to get in. I go, Josh. All this time we're looking for a library for you to work in. What about a bookstore? And you sat right up and go, oh my gosh, why have we never thought about that before?
Yeah.
It's so, just like what. Why didn't we think about that?
I don't know. I might have thought of it at one point, years and years ago, mm-hmm. but I didn't want to deal with sales. Mm-hmm. So, at least that's my thinking now about why I discarded it. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. But, yeah, it's why didn't I think of this?
I don't know. I think probably you're onto something there, because if you work in a bookstore, do you have to deal with customers? Do you have to work the register?
Yeah.
Do you have to do all of those things that might feel at times overwhelming for you?
Right.
Especially, I mean, you can tell me if I'm off on this, but I feel like for you working at a register, if you're there by yourself and let's say there was a line forming and you would feel pressure, and maybe there's something, difficult that you're dealing with, that would feel stressful to you.
Yes. Yes, it would. But I don't think it would be insurmountable.
At this point in your life.
Right.
Right. And I feel like the therapies that you're going through are helpful.
Yeah.
In that aspect. And so, anyway, because you've told me before, I want to be in charge of things, not people.
Yeah.
And your favorite things are books, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite activity, aside from reading, though, is bowling.
Bowling?
Bowling.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
Aside from reading.
Uh-huh.
Is bowling.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I guess I should say not necessarily activity, but more physical activity.
Right.
So
You ever thought of joining a bowling league?
I was thinking more along the lines of a job, but okay.
A job? Bowling?
Working at a bowling alley.
Oh, okay.
Dork.
Well, no! You said you liked... No, know.
No, we were just talking about jobs and stuff.
I know, but then you I thought you'd like segue into what you enjoy doing.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy D&D. Can I do that for a living? No.
I don't think so. But then you would be working around people.
Yeah.
And
or I could be in the back.
Oh, taking care of the pins?
Or the bowling balls, yeah.
Yeah, okay. You'd like that?
Maybe? I don't know, maybe.
All right. Yeah. Well, once things get opened up again, maybe you can look into that.
Yeah.
Either way, what's helpful, the therapies that you're getting, and this point in your life, is that you're wanting to do something.
Yeah.
You're wanting to go and make a living.
Yeah.
And with these therapies, you have the you have the best opportunity now.
Yeah.
And you're also, we're talking about therapies, there's an autism specialist that insurance has approved you for, and we had filled out intake paperwork, and it's different than what I'm accustomed to. They said that they needed 2 weeks to assess your case to see if they're taking you on as a client.
Let alone if they have room for it.
Yeah. And so I hope that happens soon, and it is within that 2 weeks, so that then if they're not going to, you can see another autism specialist in the area.
Yeah.
Because here in Virginia, we live now in what's called Hampton Roads.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about doctors within, York County or Newport News, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Virginia Beach.
Would Yorktown be considered a part of that?
Yeah.
And Williamsburg?
Williamsburg's a little bit far out, but yes.
Okay.
We're close enough to that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, hopefully we'll find somebody that can help you even further. But one of the things that I'm so grateful about the fact that we moved here is that these new opportunities for your well-being are available.
Yeah.
And some of these things I've never even heard of before. So, I feel pretty cool about that.
Yeah.
I feel pretty cool. I feel pretty good about that, and I think it's cool.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. I personally feel cool because these things are happening. So, something that has been hard to deal with is that Nana is still not doing well. And excuse me, it's just been very difficult.
Yeah.
Because, so you guys, we've talked about Nana before.
Mm-hmm. Nana's
going to be 80 years old in July.
What?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, that little Spitfire's going to be 80 years old.
Yeah, that's certainly one word for it.
Well, Nana is...
For her, not it. Sorry.
You're going to be in trouble. Nana is 4'10" and just sassy pants. And she, as we've talked about before, she had a knee replacement last September. And that was difficulty that had its own issues that happened. She got something called C. diff, which is an infection in the intestines that is very, very difficult to get rid of, and it can be life-threatening. She's been dealing with that, and now
she got rid of it at one point.
She thought, maybe for about a week things looked really good, but she's been on an antibiotic now for 3 months, dealing with that.
Wow.
And then now on top of that, she's had to go on steroids. This is the third round of steroids because her breathing has been really bad. It's super difficult because Nana and Pappy still live in Pensacola. And for me personally, I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on what is the best thing for us to do. At some point we're talked about, well, do we need to move back down there? Is she able to move up here? And Pappy's health isn't the greatest. Do we need to move down there to help them? Or since this seems to be a great location, Dad has a great job. And
there's a lot of opportunities for me.
Exactly. Do we get them up here? And can they handle a move up here?
Right.
So,
did you ever ask them?
Yeah, and it is just a complicated situation.
Okay.
Where they're willing to move up here.
But are they able to?
Exactly. I think that's the question.
Yeah.
That is the question. And so, like the other things we're talking about here, we don't have answers to that right now.
Right.
But it's the thing that, it hurts my heart. I don't like being away from them. So, I did go down and spend a week with her and Pappy recently after being, isolated here myself for a period of time. So I knew it was okay. Go down there, straight down to see her, and it just needed to be done because it helped her out, us, being together like that.
Yeah.
But it's it's tough because we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that hurts my heart to be away from her because I don't want to be.
Right.
And my preference is for her to move up here. Now, also, anybody that's ever listened to me knows that there's no way that I want to move back to Pensacola, Florida. There is no way that is a conversation that I've ever wanted to have. And I still don't.
Well, there's your answer.
There is my answer. But...
no buts.
So, what do we do? Go about doing our very best to get them up here in the easiest way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a difficult...
Rent an airplane.
Rent an airplane? Can you do that?
Yeah.
I got $3.
No, you can't.
That's it. What I was thinking about, though, is that just like at Christmas time, I could rent a van that's, means that she can keep her legs up so her ankles don't swell up like they do. And yeah. Anyway, that's just something I wanted to bring up as part of things because that's really heavy on my heart, and I feel torn.
Yeah.
The other thing is that anybody that's listened to us that know that Bug and RJ split up, that RJ lives 4 hours away, and because of the virus, the kids didn't go up there for a long time.
Yeah. And
we noticed in Connor, he was having a very difficult time being, would verbalize that he was, like one time he said that he had to go to Gammy's house, which is me, I'm Gammy. He had to go to Gammy's house so I wouldn't go away. And
you know what he said today?
What?
Weasley went away forever. He told me that today. Weasley is RJ's dog.
Yeah.
And he was down here until they went up there to see RJ.
Right. That's what I was going to say, is because of this virus, there was a period of time where the kids could not go up to see their dad. And recently they did go up. Last weekend? No, the weekend before that.
Something like that, yeah.
And they did go up. And then when Bug went up to get them, she took Weasley up because Weasley had just become, over the years, RJ's buddy. Like, they really clicked.
Yeah.
And so, it's hard because then the kids, their dad doesn't live there anymore, and now Weasley doesn't live anymore. They still have 2 dogs. But anyway, that's hard. That's hard for the kids.
Yeah.
And so in the midst of all this virus stuff, it made things a little bit more complicated. But I have seen some behavior improvements after they went up and got to see their dad.
Yeah.
So that was a helpful thing. But and you know what? I guess I'm bringing that up because if there's anybody listening to this that you have any suggestions on how we can best help Connor and Madison to deal with what they're dealing with, please let us know, because these kids are, any split up is hard.
Yeah.
And they're feeling it, and it just that's hard to see too. So I want to end on something that you've been doing that is actually a cool thing. You've been watching virtual comedy shows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mainly with Karen, actually.
Yeah, and we've mentioned her recently, too.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to laugh? KarenRontowski.com. Professional comedian's been on Letterman. Very, very funny. So, she's my best friend, and she's been talking to you recently.
Mm-hmm.
And so you guys would talk on the phone or text.
Yeah.
And she's been doing these virtual comedy shows with people.
Yeah.
And you have been watching them.
Yeah. And this last one, I actually got a prize from him. From the comedy club.
The comedy club? Oh, you said it was Flappers.
Yeah.
So out in...
Burbank?
Burbank?
Burbank, California.
Yeah. So it was a virtual comedy show put on, I guess, by Flappers Comedy Club.
Yeah.
And how did you win?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a random drawing or if I was just laughing the most or what. But yeah, I won a. It's called Intro to Comedy.
Right.
It's a webinar.
Okay, cool.
And
it's like a workshop.
Yeah.
Right.
And which I find absolutely ironic and hilarious.
Why?
Because of all the years of living with you.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because there's been times where I would have a bit that wasn't quite working.
Mm-hmm.
I would bring it to you and go, okay, here it is. What's the hang up here? And you would go, oh, flip it around.
Yeah.
And I would go, flip it around. That's it. And I would go, take it to the stage.
And it would
sure
work.
enough, you were right. Yeah. Because you've been around comedians probably as long as you can remember.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember being whenever I was real little and we lived in Virginia Beach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember, you know what, it might have even been Beck.
Yeah.
David Beck. Mm-hmm. And I remember them coming to the house.
Have
And man, that was whenever you were just getting started too, huh?
Right, yeah. It was. And then since then, there will be opportunities that you would go to a show with me. And you gave Bobby Collins a joke.
Yeah.
Which he uses, which is pretty cool. But yeah, and then sometimes in comedy we will go to gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they don't always give you a room, but I do remember that if I was writing with somebody, they would know that I'd want to get back home to you guys. So yeah, they would come and then they would just sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
And then so you would have these insanely people that at the table for breakfast.
Yeah.
It's insanely funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been around funny people and stand-up comedy for a very long time.
Yeah, and honestly, I really credit that to me having such a sense of humor as I do.
What? You credit being around all the... Wait, say it again.
I believe that being around all these comedians and growing up with you, that's one of the big reasons that I understand comedy and humor as much as I do. Right.
Yep. I think that's right. And sometimes you are so inappropriate with your humor, and you go, and I go, and you go, oh, huh? you know? And then I had to explain to you why that was misplaced.
Yeah.
Or why you've got to be sensitive to somebody. Like, I see where you're going, and I appreciate it. I recognize those wheels turning as to why you take something that's in front of you and you try to make a joke about it. Because I think everything is funny.
With the right twist, yes.
Yes. Well, because as they say, tragedy plus time
equals comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think you're going to get out of this workshop? Or what are you hoping to get out of it?
I'm hoping that it will actually help me figure out how to input humor into our speeches.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
awesome.
Which, by the way, we should try and do, not webinars, but like the speeches online.
Virtual speaking?
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. We've not done that.
We haven't
done that. We've done other things,
yeah.
Virtual conferences and stuff,
yeah.
but not that. So that, yeah. Well, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't wait for us, for the doors to open, us to get, out there speaking again. I'm just looking forward to it. I'm anxious for all of this shut-in stuff to end.
No.
You. Yeah. I get it. So that's really awesome. There's that's going to really be helpful, I think.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. So there's so I'm just going to wrap it up here, but I wanted to say that since we moved, things have been kind of out of sorts, and your dad is the one that we do the podcast, and then he puts it all together and makes sure that it goes up. And the reason that we moved to the weekends was because when it would go up and it was missing a picture and it couldn't get figured out on going up onto the website I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what's happening is next week we're going to go back to the original day of Thursday, and it's going to be plugged in to go in to be available on Thursdays in the morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time.
Okay.
So that's when it's going to start going up and become available. So this one's going to go out today. This is this one's going to go out Sunday for Memorial Weekend.
Okay.
And then, but following this airing, it's on the Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time is when it's going to start going up. It's going to be consistent. Because we had a hard time figuring this stuff out. One thing is that, I've been all over the place, so many different things with so many different family situations that are going on that made it difficult to kind of get us organized, get me organized. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be kind of a consistent schedule from now on.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. And anyway, that's it. And you can find us on the website, sonyaking.com. It's SONYAKING.com. And listen to us Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and a variety of others.
Yeah.
It's yeah. So very cool. So this was kind of like just a mishmash.
What?
Mishmash.
What?
Mishmash.
Mishmash?
Mishmash? What is it? It's mishmash.
No, that's just weird.
How about a variety of subjects that we've covered today?
Okay. A plethora of subjects.
There we go. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for listening. And I wanted to mention to those of you that have sent in emails, thank you so much for that. Richard was on with us last week. It seems like people have really enjoyed him being on the podcast and would like to have him back. So
awesome.
Definitely going to do that. He can help us with discussing patterns.
Oh, cool.
He's got himself organized when it comes to that, and by utilizing patterns. And so
Oh,
anyway,
cool.
we'll have him back soon. But everybody, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful Memorial weekend.
Yeah.
Be safe out there, and we will talk to you again soon. Love you.
Bye.